Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Super Talk 1270. I'm your host, Alicia Heglin Thorpe, with the Office of Public Information at United Tribes Technical College in Bismarck, and this is United Tribes News Radio. Today, a special events edition as we hear from our president, Russ McDonald, our staff, and students from the United Tribes celebration of Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King is celebrated on the third Monday of January in honor of his birthday. It's been a national holiday now for 30 years. There are few places in our area that have a celebration or open discussion of civil rights and civil rights activism and how it relates to today's society. United Tribes has consistently promoted this event on campus, and it's an event that's open to the public and to the media. We offer a prayer opening, a speaker or presenter, and we hear or watch the I Have a Dream speech of Martin Luther King. And then we have an open discussion. And this morning we start with United Tribes instructor Brian Palachek with a prayer and a message of hope.
Why don't we pray together? And if you'd like to stand for a moment, that'd be fine. For me, when Martin Luther King Day comes around, I usually have a theme that's important to me. And today, my theme that I get for this day will come from his I Have a Dream speech, when he says, "Let us hew from the mountain of despair a stone of hope." If we think of all the reasons for us to be hopeless, to be frustrated, exasperated, frightened, disappointed, let this day be a time when we together can experience that stone of hope. We pray, we beg to have that hope in our hearts. We want to see it in each other. We want to give each other hope and to receive it from the deepest places. We pray today that we can be a sign of hope to each other.
United Tribes President Russ McDonald, guest speaker at this forum that attracted about 80 students, staff, and members of the public. He took a passage out of a book written by Dr. King and related it to what many Native Americans are experiencing still today.
Thank you for coming out. I want to thank our singers for sharing our songs and for the prayers this morning. I think it's always a good way to start. It makes me feel good to be here to share a little bit in regard to the contributions of Martin Luther King Jr. to our country and to the way of life that we're experiencing today. I Googled up a little bit and I knew some of this stuff already, but I want to read a few things to you, and I think they're important to today's event. It's from the People's World org. But according to People's World, despite the yearly celebrations of Martin Luther King and African American History Month, many do not know what he said about the horrific mistreatment of Native Americans by the United States government. In his 1963 book, Why We Can't Wait, King strongly condemned the historic injustices inflicted on Native people. He wrote the following: "Our nation was born in genocide when it embraced the doctrine that the original American, the Indian, was an inferior race. Even before there were large numbers of Negroes on our shores, the scar of racial hatred had already disfigured colonial society. From the 16th century forward, blood flowed in battles of racial supremacy. We are perhaps the only nation which tried as a matter of national policy to wipe out its indigenous population. Moreover, we elevated that tragic experience into a noble crusade. Indeed, even today, we have not permitted ourselves to reject or feel remorse for this shameful episode. Our literature, our films, our drama, our folklore, all exalt it." So when we talk about this, when we see this quote from Dr. King, we see that, how it's affected us today, and some of the stereotypes that are on our people today, and some of the stereotypes that have been on our African American relatives. So these things are in place, and not only them, but all people of color. And we realize today as we move forward that things are getting better. And the experiences that my dad, my folks had, my grandparents had are different than what we're experiencing today. And what I've noticed in my travels is that when I'm out on the East or West Coast, in the cities, and where there's more diversity, you're more accepted for the individual that you are. And that's where we have to get in here in North Dakota. One example that they shared in this same document here, Dr. King assisted Native people in South Alabama in the late 1950s. At that time, the Porch Band of Creek Indians were trying to completely desegregate schools in their area. In this case, light-complected Native children were allowed to ride school buses to previously all-white schools, while dark-skinned Indian children from the same band were barred from riding those same buses. Tribal leaders, upon hearing of King's desegregation campaign in Birmingham, Alabama, contacted him for assistance. He promptly responded, and through his intervention, the problem was quickly resolved. The other example that they talked about in this paper was the 1963 March on Washington, where there was a sizable Native American contingent. Many from the Great Plains that were, of course, associated with the American Indian movement were there. And we know of our leaders along those times. One just recently having been on campus, Clyde Belcourt, just right before Christmas break, was here to do a talk at BSC, and then came to campus to share a little bit of time and a meal with our students here on campus. When I was attending school at University of North Dakota, he came out and assisted us in changing we were doing some marches on changing the Fighting Sioux name. Clyde came out and helped us, and Russell Means was still alive at that time, and he was on his way up, but something came up that he couldn't make it. But they were there with us, and they did some training with our students in regard to this, how to remain peaceful and how to make sure that happened when the stadium was opening there, or the Ralph Engelstad Arena. I think a lot of that work is related to this.
And we'll be back with United Tribes News Radio on Super Talk 1270 right after the break.
Currently, it's 28.
Mary Lou Henner, weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to Super Talk 1270. This is United Tribes News Radio. Before the break, we heard a bit of what happens at the United Tribes celebration event for Martin Luther King Day. We invite campus, staff, and students, of course, the public, community, and media to come out and listen and be a part of our open discussion about justice in America. We start the presentation of Martin Luther King's early life and childhood, his struggles as an activist when he didn't even know he was being an activist. He was standing up for civil rights of Black Americans, Native Americans, and all people who make up the minority. After the presenters finish, we listen to I Have a Dream, the speech that King made on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on August 28, 1963. We won't play his speech in its entirety. I highly recommend that you listen to it if you can. I found it on YouTube. Here's a few of my favorite parts of the speech. This is I Have a Dream by Dr. Martin Luther King.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Dr. Martin Luther King's speech has and continues to make an impact on so many. When Dr. King says that last famous phrase, free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last, it seems many are still waiting for that day to be free at last, free of hate, free from those who judge simply because of a person's skin color, or for their values and traditions, their culture, their religion. Still waiting to be free from those who judge a person by a gender, or who they should be, or who they should love. Dr. King's legacy truly has made an impact. Here are the thoughts and realizations of a few of those who attended the Martin Luther King Day event, the open discussion on the campus of United Tribes back on January 18th. Moderator Brian Palachek leads the way.
What kind of thoughts are you having today? What does this mean to you today?
My name's Nicole Littlewind Bieber. I'm a retired United States Army. I did 15 and a half years. I've been all over the world. I came to Bismarck, and I'm used to being out in the world, where you're kind of not judged by the color of your skin, but I've received, some prejudice here, and I've been here for about a month.
My name is Mary Austin. I'd just like to thank all the people who put this on, because they always have a lot of extra work that we don't even know about. It's very important that people keep a dialogue open. I think that's how come racism exists so strongly still in the United States, because people are afraid to say really what's on their minds. I have a granddaughter who's mixed, like so many of us are in this day and age, and she's Native American and African American and white. And she was getting bullied at school and people were condemning her even when she would say she was another race, because they would tell her she's not, because she's not dark enough. Geez, the stereotypes never end. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think we have to worry about how we're different, but how we're the same and how we can do good for one another.
We just heard from two speakers, a United Tribes student, Nicole Littlewind Beaver, and Mary Austin, an English instructor at United Tribes. That was their thoughts and recommendations of how to open the dialogue and open the discussion of justice, racism with the others in our community. We also heard from moderator Brian Palachuk, who incidentally was a member of the North Dakota Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Commission, whose members work to promote and celebrate diversity and reduce discrimination in North Dakota and bring MLK Day to our state. The commission ended in 1995, and it was anticipated that commission could have led to establishing a North Dakota Human Rights Commission. North Dakota has a Human Rights Act, a North Dakota Housing Discrimination Act, but not a Human Rights Commission. North Dakota does have a Human Rights Coalition, a membership organization with volunteers and a board of directors. And it's this coalition that is leading efforts to make positive changes for all people of North Dakota. Kind of changing gears, there's lots going on campus these days. Recently, United Tribes acquired 2 buildings from the Army Reserve next door. If you're familiar with the campus, we're next to the Lewis and Clark Army Reserve Center on University Drive in South Bismarck, and we were recently conveyed by the U.S. government 2 buildings from Old Fort Lincoln. It's a hospital and it's steward's quarters. So the hospital is located on the South Campus, and when you're driving on Burley Avenue, you go across University Drive heading east. There they sit. Presently, there's military vehicles that sit on the west side of the hospital as the front doors of the hospital actually face south. They face our new campus addition, the Science and Technology Center. So this is part of Old Fort Lincoln, and it became a fort in 1897. And this is what United Tribes College now sits on, and we have about 225 acres. The fort, back in the day, originally sat on 900 acres. That acreage has now been divided. You have the airport, the National Guard, the Lewis and Clark Army Reserve, and of course us. So back to the hospital, it's full of history. And in the near future, United Tribes plans to turn those buildings into an interpretive and visitor center. So you'll see how the fort was built, to its time as an internment camp, to its era as the headquarters for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers during the Garrison Dam diversion and Lake Sakakawea project. In the mid-1960s, the site was declared excess property by the military, and it was retired. It was later remodeled and served as a Job Corps training center, a Peace Corps training center, and eventually United Tribes began its educational training programs on that spot in September 1969. So you can read more about the intertwined history of United Tribes in Fort Lincoln and the Bismarck community. You can find more on our website at uttc.edu. Click on the About Us tab, and then you can read more about our history. United Tribes will be celebrating their 50th anniversary, or their birthday, in 2019. So that's a quick 3 years from now. And just to give you a brief synopsis of what United Tribes offers, we offer 22 Associate of Applied Science degrees, 3 Bachelor of Science degrees and certificates, and from nursing to business management to environmental science and teacher education, we offer small teacher-to-student ratios, so more one-on-one time. We are proud to be a family-oriented and community-focused campus. So we have childcare available for students who are parents as they attend classes on campus. We even have an elementary school that goes up to the 7th grade. That's the Theodore Jamerson Elementary School. And we offer housing both on and off campus with transportation provided to those off campus if they so choose. United Tribes is a nonprofit corporation incorporated in the state of North Dakota and governed by the 5 tribes wholly or in part in North Dakota. These tribes are Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, also known as the three affiliated tribes, the Spirit Lake Tribe, the Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate, and the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and of course the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. The college board of directors made up of the chairperson and one delegate selected from each of these tribes. And we're going to have more on Super Talk 1270 and United Tribes News Radio when we come back.
Currently, it's 28.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. supertalk1270.com.
And welcome back to United Tribes News Radio on Super Talk 1270. United Tribes is committed to the health and wellness of students, staff, and visitors within the campus community. And today in our studio is John Keller. John is the Director of Strengthening Lifestyles. That's a part of our wellness facility. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Can you tell us a little more about what the Wellness Center is, its role on campus, and then what the Strengthening Lifestyle role is with that?
Well, the wellness program, we have counselors, we have all kinds of things that are related, but strengthening lifestyles takes on the fitness, activities role, and it's more for our students, staff, and I don't think a lot of people know our community. So, and we have a lot of things to offer. I'm excited to be here. I don't think our students and people know really all the things we do have.
Right, and I was just telling you before the break that, I honestly don't know a whole lot about what the Strengthening Lifestyles is. So, yeah, tell us more about that. I'm excited.
Well, the one thing, we have 4 full-time staff members, and all 4 of our members are certified personal trainers.
Okay.
And that's one thing you'll never see at a smaller school.
Right.
All our people are certified. So we can do personal training. We can do, and we have nutritionists on staff there too in the skill center. But the one thing we do have is we have great facilities. We're always updating, always changing things. When I got there, the weight room was kind of a little bit everywhere.
Okay.
So we kind of changed that around. We got a great weight room. We have free weights. We have all kinds of machines. We have a spin room with 12 bikes. We also have a fitness studio where we can do our yoga classes, our stretching classes, all that kind of stuff. We have a cardio room that has our ellipticals, our Stairmasters, bikes. And then we also have 2 saunas and a spa. And I don't think people really realize that. And the students have the opportunity to use all that.
And this is all free for students and staff, correct?
And it's free
Yeah,
for students, staff,
absolutely.
and the community.
And the community.
Can come out on open hours when we
Sure.
have our open hours.
Okay.
And that's one of the things is we're 7 days a week. We're 8 in the morning till 9 at night on Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we're open at 9 to 6. So we're always free, and available for everybody.
Okay. So when it comes to the actual facilities there, I mean, obviously you have a lot to offer, just like any other gym basically would offer.
Yes.
But they would have to pay a membership fee for. So along with that, there's activities on campus. Now we're kind of moving it back to what students and staff can and participate in. Tell us a little more about some of these events what you've had in the past and maybe what's coming up.
Some of the things that we offer for our students, we do movie nights. Just recently, we took our students sledding. In the summer, we did different things. We took them fishing, swimming. We have free at the aquatic center. We take them bowling. We just did that on Wednesday night at the Thunder Alley. Kids love it. The ones that attend it, are excited. But we would just want to get more people involved. The big thing is we have a lot to offer. We do a lot outside the community too. We're taking, the powwow that's coming up next weekend. We're taking our students, free transportation to that event.
And that's the Sweetheart Powwow?
Yes.
Okay. That's right. You had mentioned that, for example, like the bowling night, and you take the students. Now, what about the students that have families?
Yes, and we do that for the families too. Like we'll have a movie night for them, like the sledding event. That was for the families, and then we'll have different events for the families, bingo night or something like that, where we can really get that. The one thing that we have coming up, and it was well attended, is our hand games tournament.
Okay.
We just recently had on the 27th was a practice. And Sitting Bull College came, a lot of people from the community.
Okay, now what is hand games? Let's explain that a little bit more to our community.
It's it's a culture game. It's the native culture game. I really don't know a lot about it. It's they have sticks and they try to trick one another. They have drums going. It's really neat.
So these were games that, for example, the tribal people would play to keep occupied, to have fun with other families, and the tradition has kind of it's kept on, and now we're still doing these things today.
Yes, and and the hand games go back to that traditional games like lacrosse, that we want to try to bring in later on down the road.
Okay.
The double ball, things that they've done for centuries.
Yeah, right.
So
right. Okay. All right. So tell me more about the hand games then. You said, is there something coming up again?
Yes, March 5th we're going to have a hand games tournament that's open to all tribal schools and the community.
Okay.
We haven't set the final times and everything, but it's going to be early morning till afternoon. But we will have some prize money, some different prizes throughout. We will feed you. So
that's always a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Okay. And you said that's coming up sometime in March.
That'll be March 5th.
Okay.
Yes.
And in March, excuse me, there's also another event, and I believe that's AHEC. What's AHEC?
AHEC is we're going to be taking 20 students, and it's academic. They have to have their academics. They have to be good attendance in school. They got to no problems. And there's all kinds of different events. It was kind of new to me this year. Is all these people they'll go like to a knowledge bowl or something like that, and I'm very happy to have we're going to be doing our hand games. We'll have all 20 of those people try to be involved, but it's going to be a tough thing, we heard, because the event's going to be going throughout, like the Knowledge Bowl, the Science Bowl.
So it's going to be hard to be two places at once.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But we're excited with our archery team.
Okay.
I think, JP Holmes has done a great job. We're going to take 4 people and represent, I think, really well in archery.
Oh, and have you seen some of the practice skills? Have you seen?
I've seen I've seen JP, and I've seen, it's been going a while now. He's kind of recruiting here and there. So I think he's got a good team. I think he's we'll represent. We'll do okay.
Do you know a history of our archery team in the past at the AHEC tournaments? Have we done in the past?
I don't know how
Okay.
we have done in the past, but I know that JP was involved with Sitting Bull College.
Okay.
And they took 3rd and 1st, and
So he's a pretty good target.
Yeah, so he's done it. He's done it before.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Okay. And now we're moving on a little bit more here. We've got some events coming up. There's something about T-Bird, the T-Bird Run.
Yes, the Thunderbird Run.
Thunderbird Run. Thank
Yes. The Thunderbird Run will that'll kick off on April 23rd, and we'll have registration early in the morning. It'll start about 7 a.m. and then we'll have a half marathon that'll start at 8 a.m. We'll have a 10K that'll start at 9 a.m. and then we'll have a 5K which starts at 9:15.
So the runners in our community are welcome to be a part of this.
Yes, and the community, we have a fee for certain people. Our students or staff, our students run for free.
Sure.
And then any other student, whether you're at Bismarck High, Century, or whatever, you have a student ID or University of Mary or something, it only costs you $5
Okay.
to participate.
I have some friends who are runners. So
great.
this would probably be, if they haven't already been a part of it in the past, but it is open to community-wide, not just to schools. Is that correct?
Yes, it's open to everybody. It's open to the community. our students, anywhere, people outside the state, whoever wants to come.
Sure. Are you a runner?
I am not. I am not.
I'm not either. I can stand and watch them run. That's about as far as I get. Okay, so the Thunderbird run is in April. I think I kind of went ahead of myself a little bit. The mini relay for life.
Yes. So the Mini Relay for Life is run by the American Cancer Society, but the Mini Relay for Life is our event that we raise our money for United Tribes. The big thing is we're going to have a color run the day of the Thunderbird run.
Oh, fun, yes.
So, and then we'll have opening ceremonies and all that for the Mini Relay for Life. And then we'll present what money we have raised for from UTC to take on June 11th to the big event, the Relay for Life. That's at Century.
That's at Century.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's in June. Okay, so if somebody wants to participate in any of these events within the community, for example, who can they reach?
They can reach any of our staff. If you could go online, you can look at us. Look up John Keller, Kara Greenwood, and Chris Knoll. And I just want to say congratulations to one of my staff members. She just had her baby, Bree.
That's
so
right.
Congratulations on your baby girl.
Oh, congratulations, Bree. That's awesome. Okay, well, you know what? I've got a little better idea of what the Strengthening Lifestyles is all about, and I think we have conveyed that message very well. So thank you so much, John, for being a part of this. Did I miss anything?
I could talk for hours about our program and everything.
Well,
I'm
we
excited
like that.
about it. We're just,
Sure.
we're trying to do new things, be innovative, try new things. We're always excited to do things for
Sure.
our students.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our show today, and we'll be back with more on Super Talk 1270 after the break.
Currently, it's 32.
Live news headlines and weather together. Weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Super Talk 1270. This is United Tribes News Radio. United Tribes Radio News, use that interchangeably if you will. Adversity and overcoming those adversities. College can be quite a trying time for students, and United Tribes offers a few guided paths to wellness, to overcoming these adversities. So physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and of course, academically, they all kind of come together. So speaking to us today on how students can overcome the academic obstacles is Carla Garretts. She's our United Tribes Retention Coordinator, amongst other things, wears a couple of different hats on campus. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so now speaking of how students can become challenged at school, and sometimes things are overwhelming with things going on in their life, and maybe their studies aren't quite where they want them to be. Academically speaking, when things are, like I said, kind of get difficult, what things can we do at United Tribes to help them be more focused and get their, concentrate on their studies? What do we have?
We have lots of different opportunities for students, but the one I have to say that's the best is we have a tutoring system. And we have just an awesome tutoring opportunities for our students. We have both online tutoring, which is offered to any student. They can go into the computer lab. They can use it any place that there is internet, and they can go online and get a tutor. We also have face-to-face tutoring. And we've used student tutors in the past. This year we added another level. So we have professional tutors on campus as well. And those professional tutors are actually teaching in their field. So we have tutors for business, we have tutors for English, we have tutors for math, and we have tutors for all the sciences. We also have the Career Counseling Center, which we just got a new career director, Camille Martel. She's wonderful. She'll work with students on cover letters, on finding jobs, on resumes. So we have lots of help out there for students if they need it.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful thing to know, that you can get help with writing those resumes and not just a class project. Because when you put it into the real world, you can kind of get, what did I do? What's some things I could talk about myself for a resume? Sure. So career counseling, professional development.
We have all kinds of different services like that. Going back to the tutoring, we actually have tutors pretty much all day and at night.
Yeah, let's talk about
And
that.
so our students can use daycare. We have daycare on campus, which is wonderful because our students can go to class and then they can go down and see a tutor and they don't have to worry about their kids and things like that. We also have our tutors that go in and help some of the classrooms. When English is writing a paper or something like that, we'll have tutors that will go in and help those students in the classroom. And so that's a really good benefit too. Our career counseling, not only does she do resumes and help with job placement and help with interviews, but she'll also go over English papers and things like that if you need help. Lots of professional development. We do workshops. Camille actually is doing workshops, and she's doing workshops on just writing resumes, how to look for a job, how to manipulate the internet, how to fill out applications. So she's got some really great ideas coming up and workshops she's offered.
One of the things that I went through with a career development or professional development like that, actually I was in a pageant once upon a time, and we did some training on how to ace that interview. So I imagine she is doing, what kind of interview questions are going to be asked, how to answer them, proper things to wear for interviews.
Yeah, she
part of the
goes over
workshop.
a lot of that stuff. And last year, a lot of the students would come in and we would do mock interviews and we would have them, we would tape them so they could look at the tape. And that was with Rhonda Brewer, who was our past career counselor.
That's a great
And then
idea.
she would have people come out from different businesses, say they were going to go into nursing. She would have somebody from the community come out and help interview. And that was really strong because it gets those students prepared for a real interview and what they're going to be doing and, skills that they need. Those are all those soft skills that they need to be successful.
Absolutely, I agree with that. So how many tutors, professional tutors do you have, student tutors, things like that?
I have 4 professional tutors.
Okay.
And they are there evenings, and they're also there, a couple of them are there on Sunday afternoons. So we have 4 hours on Sunday also for students to get tutoring. And then I have 2 student tutors at this point in time, and they're there mostly during the day.
Okay. And there's a place where students can find availability for these tutors? I mean, do they have to book it in advance?
No, the tutors are there for help and support at any point in time. They get a tutoring schedule. We have the tutoring schedule that's listed. We go down to the JBC, which is the Lower Jack Barden Center, and they have tutoring tables right outside the lab,
Sure.
the JBC lab. And that's really nice, too. We have a Cozy Creek down there also. So students that come from off campus end up being able to stay and eat and work in the computer lab and get tutoring help all in one area.
And that Jack Barden Center, that lower level, has come a long way.
Yes, it's awesome. And it's got a big screen TV for people just to rest and relax. And they don't have to run back and forth to town and things like
Right.
that. So,
The convenience of that, having that there.
yeah, it's getting used a lot.
Good. So what are some of the other ways, Carla, that we can keep students occupied on campus and keep them having fun? And, it's all work, it's no play, or else it's all play and no work. I mean, how do you find that happy medium for our students?
We do as a retention coordinator, I do a lot of different activities with different departments. We have several things that are coming up. We have the big Super Bowl bash on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
And that's from 4:30 to 8:30, and our students can come down with their families and friends. And we have door prizes and food and just watch the game on a couple of different screens and get out of the dorms and get on campus and just kind of have some camaraderie there. They're going to have like a best dressed contest for the Super Bowl and things like that.
Show your team spirit.
Yep. So we're doing that. We also have a health fair coming up on February 25th. Lots of different interesting booths. You can check your blood pressure. You can do just different nursing areas will be there. Retention will be there talking about stress relievers and things like that.
Now, is this open to the public, the
It is-
health fair?
Yes. It's all open to the public. That one is Thursday, February 25th. There's 22 confirmed booths. Jamie McLeod is the contact for that.
Okay.
So we have that coming up. We have the career fair, and I'm really excited about that because that's been growing every year. We have 62 booths committed right now.
Wow.
We can have up to 80. And the career fair is free for the businesses. We see a lot of repeat businesses coming in. And it's really awesome for our students because they get to bring their resume around. They get to dress up. They get to talk to people. They get to look at contacts and get business cards, things like that.
So this career fair, it's at United Tribes.
It is.
And it's open to the public.
It is open to the public.
Okay.
Yep. And that is March 23rd, and it's 1 to 4. And again, that is just an excellent opportunity for, and people in the community too. We've had students that are no longer students that come back out for the career fair.
Oh, okay.
And so that's just a really good opportunity for students.
Okay.
We also have the mini relay for life, and that's, I think John talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And so we're really involved with that. So we try to get our students active and keep them involved, not just in United Tribes, but also in the community.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So we're doing that. And then we have Lunch and Learns, which we are starting February 17th. And that is also open to the public.
Who's our first speaker for that? Do we know who that is?
Our first speaker, I do know. And the thing I like about Lunch and Learns, again, it hits just a variety of things. Our first speaker is going to be Robert's Rule of Order, and it's somebody from the Heritage Center that's going to come out and help people, especially our clubs, know how to run that meeting so that when they go off campus and they want to get involved, they know how to set up things and how to be organized and how to run meetings. But we have consumer finance, we have a chiropractor, we have an acupuncturist, we have personal finance, emergency response, all kinds of things.
So our
coming in.
Lunch and Learns are scheduled all the way until that first week of May.
Yes,
Wonderful. So that's definitely something we're going to want to put out.
yes.
Public information. Sure. Okay, wonderful. Well, Carla, thank you so much for being on our show today. As always, it's always a pleasure to have you on. And we really do appreciate all that you do on campus. You're a woman that wears many hats.
Oh, I enjoy it thoroughly. And I'm glad I'm here to promote some of our things because I love to see lots of people on campus.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. We're just going to talk a few minutes here before we wrap up the show. As Carla had mentioned earlier, Fun Day Sunday at United Tribes. There's a couple of different things going on. It's the Thunderbirds take on Dawson Community College on Sunday. So the Lady T-Birds take the court at 1. The men take it at 3. Now, this is at the James Henry Gym on campus. And then after the game is wrapped up, there's another fun in store for you, and it's the Super Bowl party. So that starts about 4:30, and contests, games, all that stuff. And then Tuesday, there's another big conference game for the T-Birds when they play BSC at Bismarck State College. Winter Market is coming up February 20th. That's from 10 to 2 at the multipurpose room on campus. You can follow the signs to find your way to the market if you've never been there before. Everything from fresh vegetables, handcrafted materials, jewelry. They accept debit and credit cards. Health Fair coming up February 25th. That's also in the multipurpose room. The Mini Relay for Life, that's coming up soon as well. Thank you so much for joining us on United Tribes Radio News and Super Talk 1270 for this Free for All Friday. And from all of us at United Tribes, have a great weekend.